Hello and welcome back to CEO.CA's Inside the Boardroom. My name is James Fatham, and today I'm excited to be joined by Victor Cantore, President, CEO, and Director of Amex Exploration. Victor, thanks so much for calling us today.
Well, thanks. I'm glad that we're here again. Today was a really special day for Amex. We reached a real milestone.
Absolutely. It's been a long time in the making and a really excellent numbers put out today with that preliminary economic assessment. Walk us through maybe some of the work that has gone into putting this together.
Yeah, so we put out the resource. So what's important to think here is that this resource calculation, the PEA was basically based on the resource calculation that we reported back on September 5th, and that's from the cutoff that was done as of June 30th, the resource cutoff that was done on June 30, 2024. So there was a lot of work behind this. These are all independent mining engineers that put this report together, and they reported some real phenomenal numbers.
Great. And I guess in terms of some of the highlights from today, what are the key numbers people need to know, and what's the overall takeaway here in terms of what comes next?
Yeah. So some of the takeaways is really when you look at the projected production from year one to 5, you're looking at an average annual production of 124,000 ounces a year. What's really interesting to see is the all-in sustaining cost. It's coming in at $807 US, but that's over the life of mine. When you look at it from years 1 to 5, it actually comes in at $739 an ounce. I mean, and with an initial capex of $229 million. What really does this? I mean, some of the key factors that help have this initial capex really low is really because of its location. You're right beside the town of Norrital, which is a former mining town. So you have electricity 4 kilometers away from where the high grade mine is going to be at. You have water. You have roads right to the project, and really most important is that the town of Norrital has about 700-800 residents. If you go 23 minutes to the south, you have the town of Lassar. The town of Lassar has about 10,000 residents or so. So you can get your entire workforce at the project without having to do a fly in, fly out. The workers coming from Lassar, it's 23 minutes. You can actually go home every night, so you don't need a mining camp. The ones that will, if we'll have workers also from the town of Norrital, they can actually go home for lunch. And all this adds. I mean, if you have to start, if you'd be 70, 80 kilometers away, where electricity would be 70, 80 kilometers away, when you're looking at $1 million per kilometer plus, that's a lot of savings for the project. It's got a great pre-tax and after-tax NPV. You have also an amazing IRR on it. So yeah, we're really looking forward to moving this project forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I saw also the calculations were conducted at a $2,000 gold price. So obviously in today's gold environment, that does offer quite a lot of upside. It is also an incredibly low initial capex, below $230 million. I guess, are there any other comparable projects at this stage out there with a capex in that range?
Yeah, like I said earlier, the most important aspect is where it's located. Like if you would locate this deposit, 100 kilometers away from here, where you're more remote, the numbers would dramatically change. That's really where it goes. And going forward, when you look at the project, for example, you look at the Beaupré block. There's 2 things. If you go to our presentation, for example, there's the Beaupré block, which is we have it color coded, so it's more of like that peach color. That's where we found most of the gold so far. So that's where you have on the northern part, you have a fault there. It's called the Norrital fault. That's about 8 kilometers. You have the southern fault, which is the Perron fault, about 7 somewhat kilometers. And there's a bunch of secondary faults within that. You have well over 20 kilometers of faults in there, where we've explored probably in the 4 or 5 kilometers of that. So there's still a lot of upside there. And on the south block, which is all in green, which you're in the volcanics, there hasn't been one drill hole that has gone in there for gold. There has been previous drill holes for VMS, but not for gold. So it's there's a lot of potential to grow this.
Great. And I guess in terms of the path forward here, are you looking to continue to grow the resource, or are we entering perhaps that timeline towards getting financing for a production decision? So
we want to definitely continue moving forward to growing this. We currently have 2 drills on site. The geologists have a lot of tools. They're using AI, they're using machine learning. There's a hyperspectral gun that they're using to analyze all the core that didn't have oriented core from the past. We've hired a structural geologist. He's going to provide us with a report shortly. Take that, do a compilation after 500,000 meters of drilling. All that compilation should lead us to making more discoveries. So it's important for us to continue growing this resource. That I think brings in much more value to the shareholders versus making a construction decision immediately. Also, we will continue to de-risk the project in the sense of on the permitting side, environmental and permitting. You will see some press releases coming out shortly on contracts that we will be handing out.
Great, thanks so much for clarifying that, Victor. I guess just to wrap up, on the back of today's update, what would you say the investment thesis is for Amex Exploration, and maybe how does today's news change that?
Well, what was important to us, when you look, so before when I said that there's so much of the property still to explore, because what was important to us is that when we discovered the Eastern Gold Zone, which comprises of the high grade zone, the Nice Team Zone, and also the E3 and E2 zone. So we really concentrated in that area to make sure that we were able to produce an economic study that shows that there is a mine. Now from there you expand forward. From there you continue bringing on the resources, and you have so much of the property still to explore. But at least that today with this even conservative numbers. I mean, we did do the sensitivity studies at all the way down to $1,500 and all the way up to $3,000. It's on the press release where you'll be able to see that even at $1,500, it's still an economic deposit. So now that you've got an economic deposit, just continue growing the resources and make it much more valuable to the shareholders. I think that's where the shareholders will continue to get much more value for it. Continue drilling, more results coming out to show that we're drilling it in the known zones. A lot of the drilling is actually being directed from the engineering team where there's gaps in the we have a block model, we have stopes. So in the stopes where there's gaps in there, that's where the engineers are saying to drill, and that's all in the known zones. And the rest of the project, there's a lot to discover, and we've given them all the tools that they need to go out there and find more. So stay tuned. There's a lot of news over the next 12 months.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for that summary, Victor. Congratulations again on this milestone PEA, and looking forward to more updates over the coming months and year.
Thank you.